All right, it's thinking, it's thinking. I think I'm live. All right, so today's topic, I'm Jamie Flanagan, by the way, the team lead for Big Picture Real Estate Group. And we do a lot of new construction. So I thought it would be good to discuss the new construction, kind of the industry and what's going on and how it can benefit you as a buyer. So if you've ever thought about building a brand new house, you definitely need to tune into this because I've got several items, several topics to cover as to why now is a really, really good time to choose a builder and to start the process. So as you guys know, the news is saying one thing, real estate agents are saying one thing, and it's really important that you have a trusted resource that you're going to find out your information. And it's funny because every single day I hear a different news article that says something different than what's actually even happening. And so let's just dig into what is real. Okay. All right. So every single day I get emails from builders with massive incentives. And so what this is doing is it's creating fear because people are like, well, if they're giving so much away, is it really a good time to build? And I just want to ask you this question. Why wouldn't you build when you're getting massive incentives? Why would you wait until there's more competition, builders are busier, and you don't have any negotiating room? Whereas right now, builders everything kind of slowed way down. And so builders are giving incentives for rate buy downs. They're giving incentives for upgrades. So, something that wouldn't normally be included is now included. And having somebody like us on your team to go in with the builder and work through those negotiations. Let's see what the builder is willing to offer. Let's meet with 3 builders and see what they have. What lots are available? Are they willing? Maybe before they weren't willing to give up one of their best lots for maybe one of their smaller plans, and maybe now they will. So there's lots of great reasons that you should at least interview builders right now. I have a whiteboard behind me so that I can stay on track because I'm not very good at staying on track. But okay, so most people are telling us, well, the rates are high. That's scaring us from building. Here's the great thing about a real estate contract is generally we have a rate in there. So you wouldn't be held to the contract if your rate exceeded X. The other thing is you can usually renegotiate your rate between now and closing because it's going to be about a year. And economical indicators, you guys know Brad, my husband, he's on a call every single morning about the economy and what's happening and what rates are going to do. And, there's several economic indicators that support rates coming down. So by the time you actually close on your home, there's a really good chance that your rate's actually going to be way better than what it is today. And you could have negotiated a rate buy down. So on top of that, you'll probably, by the time you close, have a better rate available to you, and you'll already have negotiated potential closing costs or a credit from the builder toward either, and that could go toward rate buy down, it could go toward closing costs, prepaid, so like homeowners insurance, future tax bills, etc. So right now, you actually have massive incentive, like builders are giving discounts on the housing. They're allowing you to have a rate buy down. They're giving you upgrade options that you don't normally have. So that's just a few. And then the other thing I think is really, really important is the last couple of years, builders have been so busy. And so they haven't really needed to go above and beyond in the service level. And people who have built recently, if you're watching this, you could probably attest to this. Your house probably turned out great, but the attention that you got as you were building the home probably was, you could have used a little bit more communication. At least that's what we've experienced on a very, very regular basis. And it's no fault of the builder. It's everybody was building houses and everybody, there was a high demand. And so now if you were to sign a contract, between now and the end of the year, you're going to get all the attention because if you're one of the few that are signing a contract, the builder has time for you. And I think if I had to say the one benefit that's probably the most impactful, even over finances, because you can refinance. So even if you have a little higher rate, you can always refinance later. But that experience of building a home and going through the whole process. And I recently did coaching at my house out here in Colorado, and we did a visualization activity. And I think it's really important as you start to decide I want to build a house. I think it's really important to sit down and really visualize what it is that you want out of the process. And not only like what that end result is, but what that 12 months is impactful in your life. You're going to show up when they're digging. I get goosebumps talking about it. You're going to show up when they're digging the foundation with your, if you're building maybe with your kids or your dog or whatever. And like the pictures of, the kids climbing down in the hole, or, your husband standing in there, or you're standing on your lot that you just picked that faces the lake. All of these things, like I have very specific client experiences that I go back to on a regular basis and think, oh my gosh, that was so cool. And, when we work with somebody in new construction, I know it sounds silly, but like I want them to get in the bathtub if they're a bath person and make sure that this is going to work for them long term. And that might be super embarrassing for somebody, but it's honestly like part of the process, and it's part of visualizing what is that home going to do for you? What is that home going to do for your family? And really understanding, like, maybe you don't want to back to a backyard neighbor, and now you can actually get the lot at a reasonable price when maybe a year ago they were saving those lots. So really visualize like what's important to you, what makes sense to you. And I know I have a few clients I'm hoping that will watch this that have been contemplating building, and they're kind of holding off right now. And it's really why I wanted to do this video, is because I think when we really consider all the factors, it's important to realize that now is actually like there's no better time because of everything that I just mentioned. And I would absolutely love to meet up with you and go look at lots and discuss the differences between, you've got the flat lot, the walkout, the daylight lot. What does that look like? Some people love a flat lot because they don't want a door in their basement. They don't want access to their basement. Some people entertain a lot and they want that extra space and they want a walkout lot. And what does that look like? And what's going to be the best lot for that? So it's really like, and we can spend some time together visualizing and seeing, okay, what is it where do you want to live? What part of Omaha makes the most sense to you? And what neighborhoods fit your ideal lifestyle? And maybe, I know something that Brad and I went through was like, we've always had a pool at our house, and we found ourselves like we always used it for our client appreciation parties. So thank you for everyone who's come to our client appreciation parties. They're my absolute favorite. Those are getting put back on the calendar next year, by the way. We had a lot of stuff going on this year. But next year, we're having a client appreciation party. So watch for your invite if you're a past client. And but we always had a pool. And something we realized is we don't really use the pool when we don't have, people over. So when we evaluated it, we're like, maybe we want a neighborhood that has a community pool instead. And that was not something that we ever had considered previously. We always wanted the privacy of our own pool. But, when you travel a lot and you come back and it's like the pool actually, just that became something that was more of a maintenance item than something that we really enjoyed. And so again, going back to visualizing, like, what would that look like? How often do I travel? Do I really want a pool in my backyard, or do I maybe want a community pool, or do I want to be, and maybe that's it. Maybe I want to be able to have a community pool, but I want to be able to see my kids walk to the pool. So having, that close proximity would be really important. And that gets me into a whole nother thing. Cause if we door knock, we do all the things to find our client. We just did a mailer. We have somebody who's searching in in Dundee. And so we sent out a mailer to everybody in that area that has a house that's over, I think we did 3,500 square feet. And we aren't slowing, like this market, we are on top of it. My team is out there crushing. We just signed a listing yesterday. So we have a new listing that's a rental property. That would be a great rental property if anyone's looking. Sorry, I went off on a tangent. But that's also, let's go back in that, because that actually does have to do with new construction. So one of the things I think about is, okay, rates, okay, maybe they'd go up a little bit. Maybe your payment is a little bit higher. But what about if we did a home equity line of credit on our current home for the down payment on the new home, rented out our current home because we have an excellent rate on it, and then we actually cash flow. And so now you have a great rate locked into your current home. And I've talked about this before. But you have an awesome rate on your current home. You rent it out, you're making money, and you get to upgrade your lifestyle. You get to, and think about it. Now your current home is going to be paid off. I don't know how many years you have left on your mortgage, but let's say you did a 30-year mortgage, you've been there 7 years. So you have 23 years left. Can you imagine if you just rented that house out for 23 years and then based on appreciation, you now have let's say it's a $250,000 house now, and I'm literally just making this up because I don't have a calculator. But let's say in 23 years now, that house is worth $350,000, $400,000 because of appreciation. You now have a $400,000 asset paid off by somebody else. So, and you guys know, me and Brad have built, we've built an excellent rental portfolio. It's very diverse. We've got single family, multifamily, short-term rentals in Colorado. So we've done it all. And if that's something that you're passionate about or that you even have a little bit of interest in, I'd love to have a conversation with you. I've helped a couple clients go through that process. And then we just basically say, let's try renting it out, see what happens, see what you think. And worst case scenario, we just sell the property later if it doesn't end up working out for you. So, and what I think is important is we don't make a commission if we rent it out. If we help you rent it out, I mean, we could, I guess, but that's not our goal. Our goal is to create wealth for you and a great experience where you decide that you want to refer everyone to us because we impacted your life in a positive way. And I hope if any of my past clients are watching this, that they could attest to that. We've never been really good about asking for reviews. And that is another thing that I really want to, if you're watching this and you're a past client and you had a good experience with us, which I hope that you did, I would love if you went on Google at Big Picture Real Estate Group Omaha and left us a positive Google review. Even if we, let's say maybe we looked at houses for a little while and you ended up staying in your current home, or we've interviewed builders, but we haven't closed yet. You can still leave a good review because we've impacted you in a positive way. So, and realtors who are watching this, I think that's a great thing for your business is remembering that I went to a training yesterday. It was really awesome, but we can have such a positive impact even if we're not at the closing table. And, sometimes people call us for a CMA review for refinance some agents are like, oh, I don't want to do, whatever. They called me and I waste of time. It's not a waste of our time. You guys can call us and you can ask us for favors anytime you want. We want to be your resource. And it doesn't have to be just when you're shopping for homes or selling a home. We want to be your resource, your community resource. And even now, if you have thought about building a house, but you just have questions and you're like, I'm not really serious yet, ask the questions now. Most people that are building a house are 6 months to 18 months out. So we know when you start asking us questions, we have no desire to go get you in contract that weekend. We have the desire to educate you so that when you do end up in contract, whether that's 6 months, 12 months, or 18 months, that you end up in the right location, the right lot, the right builder, and you have a really great experience. And I think what's really cool too is when you're interviewing builders, we can actually look for equity opportunities right away. And so, because a lot of builders have, this is a whole nother topic now. A lot of builders have set base prices. So you build on this lot and, you do X, Y, and Z. So let's say you're on a corner lot, it's going to cost this much. Well, sometimes you can find opportunity where you could find a lot in a neighborhood where you get a better price on the lot. But when it's all said and done, your home is going to be worth what other homes in the neighborhood are worth, and you might have actually come out ahead. So you actually are with you have instant equity. And I know that sounds crazy in a new construction, but it's actually, I can't think of one client that doesn't have instant equity that we've worked with in the new construction world. Because once that lot's gone, obviously it's no longer available, so you can't build on it. And that also adds value. And there's things to, if you back, certain things are going to affect the value too. And hopefully it's really evaluating that. So if you back to a busy street, for example, let's make sure that that might not bother you. And it might be more of a financial decision. Like, hey, we are getting this lot for $35,000, $40,000. So it makes financial sense for us. We don't mind that we back to a busy street. And as long as it makes sense at the end with your pricing and the overall neighborhood, I support that. And you just have to really evaluate all of the things that, are going to impact the buying process per se. So if you guys have any questions, I definitely encourage you to reach out. You can DM us, you can text me, call, we're really easy to get a hold of. So my entire team is really, really versed and trained in new construction homes. And I was thinking if you guys would benefit from it, let me know in the comments if you would benefit from this. But I was actually thinking of creating a spreadsheet with all the current builder incentives. So for example, this builder is offering, $10,000 off, as well as this many upgrades plus X, Y, and Z. So if that would benefit you and I get enough comments saying it would benefit, I will spend the time to create the spreadsheet, and I'll send it out to anyone who's interested in reviewing it. So thank you guys for tuning in. I encourage you guys reaching out, asking questions, getting engagement going, because if you have the question, so do other people, I'm sure. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Bye.